Hi, and welcome back for another session for the Love of Health web show. I'm Laura Baum, clinical herbalist, holistic lifestyle coach, and the founder of Laura's Botanicals, a Richmond, Virginia-based company since 2017 that's helped hundreds of people like you bring holistic lifestyle into their lives successfully, learn how to use herbs confidently, and build wonderfully sustainable lifestyles that reduce toxins, reduce waste, and have a sense of self initiative and momentum in your own healing journey. I myself had my own healing journey that started way back about a decade ago when I realized that food wasn't exactly food and not everything that I was eating was good for me. And I had to change a lot of my lifestyle. It didn't all happen in one day. It started with one tincture glass bottle, and then it evolved into a larger regimen where now everything has been replaced or swapped out. And I created a system, a regimen called Everyday Holistic, which I now teach my peoples. Today we're talking about sustainability, and we're doing this because we are actually celebrating something, a special event called Podcastathon and the Passionistas Project. And they have asked me to feature a nonprofit. And the nonprofit I'm featuring today is United Plant Savers. If you've been following me on Facebook or other social medias for a while, 'cause I'm relatively new on YouTube, but I have always supported United Plant Savers. We might actually have mentioned them in a couple other our talks, and we have featured the executive director, Dr. Susan Leopold. Um, we featured her a few years ago at a local event here in Richmond that we created. We wanted to bridge and create a conversation about essential oils and the industry of essential oils and the sustainability of essential oils, which is a very unique fact area to explore and understand because essential oils, in essence, no pun intended, are truly unsustainable if we're making them on a mass manufactured level because they require so much plant matter to create such a small amount of product. This is especially um, an issue with plants that are already endangered or at conservation level risk, like the IUCN list, the Red List, and also United Plant Savers has their own internal conservation system to let you know if a plant is at risk medicinal plants. So United Plant Savers was founded on the principles by herbalists and environmentalists alike to create this system of understanding which plants are medicinal plants and also which plants are at risk medicinal plants. And then we should definitely not be using them or have methods of conservation in place to make sure that they do not go anywhere. So it's not just the plant population. It's also that we want to consider. It's also the stories, the legacies, the communities, the people who are engaged in that plant in commerce or its medicinal traditions. That people and plants are like this, right? So they do all kinds of projects all around the world and ethnobotanical surveys and studies, and they have a wonderful members only catalog that you can get every year to see all the updates on all your favorite medicinal plants, some plants you didn't know, and to hear from other members of United Plant Savers, a nonprofit, of course, to hear their stories, their insights, their growing insights on plants, some of the stories of the trade, and things like that. So it was really wonderful to host this dialogue about essential oils specifically because so many essential oil companies now are so much about mass manufacturing and a lot of the products are actually going to be adulterated because they just cannot get sourcing, reliable sourcing, enough sourcing for the products they want to push out. Um, it's so not aligned with the environmental needs as well as the social needs of the people who are living and working off the trades that are go back thousands of years with these particular individual plants. For example, there's a type of spikenard, I believe it's in Nepal, that was it became endangered and it was being overutilized and almost got wiped out. But it matters a lot to build these actual real connections and relationships with the growers that have this history in place and have always had this local only commerce. Because the way that local communities and villages and communities actually grow and thrive. And harvest plants is actually quite sustainable. They have a replanting policy. When they harvest, they replant. When they harvest, they only harvest certain parts. It's only when we go in with an unsustainable attitude or an ignorant way of harvesting that we actually do damage to the local environment and thus the local people. We see that with the ginseng trade here in the United States. Ginseng is a traditional family run practice that's gone on for hundreds of years now. It's still very active, a very high value plant, considered a forest timber product. And it's something that we have still have all these modern struggles. So this is not just a struggle from the past. This is a very, very now and relevant issue to be aware of. And United Plant Savers is definitely at the leading front to forge that conversation, make sure people understand what is at-risk medicinal, like I said earlier, and also to create solutions. So they have a member-only ginseng and golden seal root giving a sale every year, so you can have your own roots of these medicinal plants that are done all in-house. They also have seed libraries and learning centers. They do those ethnobotanical tours. They have that member journal with member writing that you can do every year. You can contribute your own writing and your own photos and artwork. Um, they also have the botanical sanctuary set up, which means people can learn how to create their own sanctuary on their land, identify what plants you have, and create a sanctuary for plants. You actually can make sure your spot is designated botanical sanctuary, so not going to be touched or utilized by commercial use that is used only for conservation efforts. And they also have a business membership, which means businesses can go in and they can become a member through the business network of the United Plant Savers and get designation and support through that. So it's a really fabulous organization. Obviously, I've been involved for quite some time and I can speak a lot to their attributes. I really do support them. And just to give a little bit more substance today for my own platform, I want to talk about a quick way to make sure that your lifestyle is sustainable if you are using herbs and holistic products. The only way we can really know that things are sustainable is if we are doing some type of reflection session. And you might have heard me say before, because I've done a video training before, we'll definitely make sure you get tapped into that one through our notes today, is that every month I have a scheduled time called the monthly health reflection session. And there's an actual checklist to go through to make sure that your supplements and things are not expired, which can literally save your life, not adulterated. Look at the dates, make sure that the labels actually tell you certain information that to clue you in whether or not this is a sustainable source product for your herbs. One of the biggest questions I get is, how do I know where to get the herbs from? That's a great question, especially as um, demand increases and supplies decrease around the world, and also the manner, like I mentioned earlier, the manner of how resources are treated and given and received and harvested really do matter in when it comes to the integrity and the quality of the herbs you're going to be ingesting. Um, so look at your labels every during your monthly reflection session and make sure that it has the full scientific name of the plant. Make sure it tells you the batch number or the processing information, where the address and phone number or the information of the company. If it can give you any more information than that, that is good. It should tell you the full names. It should tell you a little bit by the quality, the color. You should be able to see through the bag and see the quality. I know some other bags, it's actually a darker color, and that's okay. Just make sure you run through the product with your own hands and see, are there any little pieces of herbs that don't seem to match what you are expecting? Little pieces of twigs, things like that, to give you an idea of just like how well and how clean this batch was when you when it was harvested and then brought to market. And it should also say things like expiration dates, shelf dates, and you really want to be adhering as much as you can to those dates because the quality does decrease over time and with more shelf life. I also always say if you want to powder herbs or have powdered herbs for your electuaries, honeys, things like that for your herbal products and projects at home, or capsulization, what I would do is keep the herbs in full form, so whole herb form in your pantry for your herbal larder, and powder them as you need them, which you can do during your monthly reflection session. You can, during your monthly reflection session, take time to powder the herbs for your upcoming procedures, protocols, things, recipes, things like that. That way, it's not increasing too much air to your increased surface area of the plant and won't lose its potency or quality. Which is why herbal teas that are come in tea bags on the shelf at your commercial store, your regular tea boxes, are not really going to be potent enough to be considered quality herbal medicine. You really want to have whole herbs to do that justice. Well, that's all I wanted to really tune in for today, give you a little bit of a glimpse of one of my favorite nonprofits and also how you can just easily build some sustainability in your life with a proper monthly reflection session. Because otherwise, you're going to be going through things and not really stopping and evaluating, is this good for me? Is this healthy? Are the things I'm doing even relevant to me anymore? Have a good rest of your day. And thank you, Podcastathon, for hosting our podcast today.